Hi, today I'll be talking about the importance of voting and why it should be required by each citizen of the United States. We all like to have things our way, but we must be involved so that our word is heard. First thing I'll talk about is those who are receiving benefits from the government. Those who are receiving benefits need to understand their rights as a citizen, especially since they are receiving benefits most likely for them as well as their family. They need to see what is coming up in the future as well as their current situation. They need to understand the regulations that they have to go through to receive their current benefits for now and the future. Required voting would also give a reason for people to talk about it. They can't complain if they don't vote. Politico says that less than 50% of eligible voters actually go out to the polls. If voters actually went out to the polls, instead of saying my vote doesn't count, the nation would be far different than it is today. If every person that says my vote doesn't count actually went out and voted, there would be different laws that have been passed, as well as maybe a different president in the office today. Voting is easy to do, and it shows where everybody in the nation stands. Now I'll talk about if we had less voting in our nation. The wrong person would be in office. Some say that the person in office currently is the wrong person, but the people that are saying that are most likely people that did not go out and vote. The president is in office for 4 years, and it can be up to 8 years, depending on the second election. So if required voting, if voting was required currently, there would be a change in office, or people would realize that the person in office right now is a good fit. A lot of laws would not have passed. The Atlantic says there are over 200 million eligible voters today. There are petitions to change current laws right now, but if everyone was required to vote, those petitions would not be necessary because the nation would have already spoke their word at the polls. If everybody voted, we would be way better off. Everybody's participation would show how the nation stands. There would be less protesting in the streets, as well as on the news. People would be generally more happy as they would understand, they would be more knowledgeable on the subject, because for those who are required to vote, they have to be knowledgeable on the subjects they are voting on. And the best way to protest instead of in the streets is actually at the polls. So if you want your word to be heard, instead of holding up a sign, walking down the streets, or trying to get it on news or social media, the best way to go protest your opinion is putting it at the polls and talking about it with other people. Voting should be required, especially for those receiving benefits. One thing we can do now, even if it is not required, is to go vote now. We all have an obligation as citizens of the United States to go out and vote. We need to have our word heard so that the laws that we want to pass do pass, as well as setting the person in charge of our nation a good fit. If we had a system like this, we would be a better standing nation. Thank you.